Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Kyla. Hello, Edward. Thanks for having me. Thanks for this beautiful opportunity. This is also very important for me because this is a great experience. So we are discussing some techniques, some strategies, how to improve and better our methods of conducting Zoom meetings and overall teaching students English. And we are like basically seeking for some more productive ways, some more productive strategies which will work in favor of our learning, and our students will get as much as they can out of it. Okay, to begin with, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Vahe Grigoryan and I am from Armenia. So Armenia is a small country with ancient history. It is located in South Caucasus region in between of Europe and Asia, surrounded by four countries: Turkey to the west, Azerbaijan to the east, Georgia to the north, and eventually Iran to the south. So Turkey and Azerbaijan are our enemies, but Georgia and Iran are kind of allies. Okay, so we have very ancient roots. We are known to the world for being the first country which officially adopted Christianity, and we are famous for that. So you can Google. If you Google first a Christian country, you'll see Armenia. Okay, bring will bring the result immediately. Okay, so I was born in Armenia in capital city Yerevan, and I've been raised there. But recently, like I've been traveling a lot, so those are job related, like journeys, trips, also like some study related trips. That's why I'm not being around in Armenia recently very often.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for telling us a bit about your background and where you're from. I know I personally have not heard a lot about the history of Armenia. Many people might not know where it's geographically located. So it's great to get a better idea of where you come from and who you are. So if anyone's interested in learning more about Armenia, now they have a little background knowledge before they do their Google searches. So tell us a bit about where you are now, where you live, and what you do for a career.
All right, that's a great question. Thank you very much. Secondly, I like to mention I've got a military background. I've been in the army since I was 14 years old. I went to military college after Monte Melkonian, who is one of our prominent and very respected heroes of war. So I, after I finished military college, I attended military institute. Now that's a military like university. The status got increased, and like after studying there for 4 years, I became promoted to lieutenant. My first commission was lieutenant, and I was sent to northern part of Armenia to serve in borders. Then, after serving there for 3 years, I was moved to another brigade and served there for 3 years. Later, I went to the United States. So my government sent me for education, for educational purposes. I went to Texas, San Antonio, where I studied in Defense Language Institute English Learning Center. Yeah, so I think you're gonna answer this question later, but I'll like to mention that I used to be a self-learner. I started learning English by myself, although we learned English. We studied English at our school, but it wasn't good enough because I hated my teacher. She didn't know English at all. She was very corrupt and very bad person. She like we were bribing her for good grades, but she didn't give us knowledge. That's why. Sorry for that. I'm just letting the cat out of the bag, okay? And so, for purpose, I started learning English because I wanted to move to the United States. And also, there was another purpose behind that. I'm not gonna tell that because my wife probably gonna watch this. I don't want she knows this because she probably will ask a whole lot of question on this. Okay, I start learning English by myself. I practiced and mm, I knew like certain like vocabulary, grammar. I could express my ideas. It was poor, but however, anyway, I could like express what I wanted. And I just passed exams and I went to the United States, to Texas, San Antonio. I studied in Defense Language Institute English Learning Center where I learned a lot. I was one of the most like avid learners there. Instructors, they were like impressed. How can like a guy from Armenia with like little English knowledge achieve such results? I was qualified. After that, I was sent to Fort Benning, which is in Georgia State, to Maneuver Center of Excellence, and I attended Maneuver Captain Career Course. Okay, Maneuver Captain's Career Course, which is for captains, and I was first lieutenant at that time. I finished that, and I returned back to Armenia, and currently I'm serving peacekeeping brigade. Now, right this time, like currently I'm deployed to Lebanon and I'm still here. But as soon as I finish my mission, I'm gonna back to Armenia again.
Yeah, wow, very interesting. And it sounds like an awesome experience what you've done coming to the US and learning in more official institutions and doing so well after not having that much of a formal quality education back in Armenia when you were younger. So I have sort of a fun question for you. Which do you prefer, a Northern or a Southern American accent? Since
So,
you learned in Texas
so
and in Georgia, so
mostly, so I was allocated in southern part, and uh, I love Texas, like Texan accent. I love when Texas people in Texas speak, and also in Georgia. But I like everything about Texas, including accent as well.
yeah, Texas is very special, has its own sort of culture.
Yeah, exactly. That's real, like genuine Wild West, just like we see in movies, right?
Is Texas similar to the landscape of Armenia? Is there similarities there?
Similarities to what? Could you please repeat the question?
I said in Texas, is the landscape similar to that of Armenia?
So, not really, not completely, because there are lots of arid lands and like semi-deserts and like deserts in Texas. But Armenia, no, it's like mountainous. It's mostly mountainous country. We got like four seasons, and our climate also kind of different. Okay, in Texas, it's always summer. It's always hot. Okay, it's scorching hot. It's parched land. So but in Armenia, no, we have like four seasons. We've got winter where it snows, especially in mountains. We've got spring, which is chilly, hot summers, again, kind of chillier,
Very nice.
falls. Yeah, it's nothing
Nice.
like. But I
Yeah. So
mostly prefer hot seasons. I like to like live in hot climates. I enjoy summer.
so that's why you like Texas. I could not live in Texas. I'm from New York, so not this sort of climate for me. But I find it very interesting the fact that you became so successful in learning English after not having a great education in English when you were in like primary or secondary school. So you said you started as a self learner. What did those first steps look like for you? What sort of resources were you using? How did you go about it? Did you work on speaking, reading? Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, that's a great question. I would like to mention at that time there wasn't internet. Okay, we didn't have like smartphones. It was like in 2004, so we had lack of internet, especially in our military institute, where we even weren't allowed having phones, like cell phones. I'm not talking about smartphones. Okay, okay. I'll tell you this. When I still was like studying in our school, so I was unqualified. Our English instructor, our English teacher didn't give me good grade. And she called my parents and talked to them. She promised not to give me good grades and she threatened that I will not finish school. So my parents bribed her with Armenian cognac, with box with chocolate, so on and so forth. and a little bit money in envelope. And she changed her mind, but instead required for me to learn all the texts and grammar. Otherwise, I will fail, okay? And my mother was very strict about that. And she was making me learn everything the way she said. I was doing lots of translations, I was learning grammar, and moreover, my mother also required me to tell the story, okay? Read it a couple of times and retell it in my words. And from that, I gained some like certain like vocabulary supply, okay? I had that in my brain. And when I decided to learn English, I kind of liked that process of learning English. I could understand something thanks to that endeavors, okay? I was doing reading, like I was reading very simple, like elementary text. I was trying to retell them. If I didn't understand, I had a small dictionary, like pocket dictionary. I was looking up words. I was taking notes in my exercise book, and also I was drawing transcription. Okay, the way I like should pronounce. I didn't have that opportunity to go online, listen to pronunciation, so on and so forth. But I was able to read transcriptions. So I was learning new words, and I was trying to retell the story, and I kind of liked that. It became my hobby, okay? If I encountered any weird structure when I read a text or I encountered sentence, so it arose question, okay, so why is this sentence built this way? Why does it work so okay this way? I was checking grammar. I had like self-learning textbook, like exercise book, Raymond Murphy self-study handbook, right? I was like learning grammar, and on the right side of the page there were exercises, and I was like doing exercises, and at the end of the book there were answers which I could check, okay? So throughout revising grammar, learning grammar, and reading elementary texts, I could learn English. But although I could learn English, but I wasn't able to speak, I started to read more and retell these stories. And then after I developed fluency. After, so only in 2011, when I moved to southern part of Armenia, and I heard that our MOD, Ministry of Defense, requires some officers with sufficient English knowledge to be sent to the United States for like here mentioned courses, right? So I applied for that. I signed for it, okay? And I went, and the staff who was talking to me, who hosted me, he asked me, like he suggested me to watch like YouTube videos in English. And I started like listening to these videos, like songs, watching videos and translate. At first it was kind of weird for me because my listening wasn't good enough, because I had never worked on my listening. I had been like working on my reading, like building vocabulary, like learning grammar, but never I worked on my listening. But although I could speak, but I couldn't understand to native speakers, okay? And I started like doing lots of listening exercises, repeating sentences, also using subtitles. And I returned back to Yerevan, my capital city, and I passed exams in 2014. It took time for me, but I was kind of excellent in grammar, and like I know grammar. I can like teach grammar with my closed eyes without any aids or PowerPoints or I don't know any like exercise books, textbooks. No, so I know grammar very well. I'm good at it. But now I am working on my pronunciation. I want to learn colloquial English. Okay, so this I picked up by interacting with you guys, with native speakers.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's very interesting, your background. that you describe how you started your self-learning process, and you used your own curiosities about the language and about why is grammar like this, or why do we write it like this, or why don't I understand what it's saying. You use that as a motivator to keep you going, to keep pushing you forward. And I think that's something that all English learners, or a learner of any language, as a non-native, you know, you need to find what's going to motivate you. So for you, it was that curiosity. You just wanted to know why. And I think it's very important to show the importance of how powerful that can be, because you didn't have all of these tools, like you said, with the internet and smartphones. Now it's so easy for us to join on a Zoom call or jump on a Zoom call, talk, share ideas, give lessons. You can have online tutors, online language partners. That wasn't something you had. And even with just a dictionary and just sitting down and trying to figure it out and find the logic, you were able to do that, which I think is really incredible and something that can motivate other learners to know that even if they don't have that same capacity of using a computer all the time, they can still work on it as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kayla. You know what's the key of my success? I'm not saying that I'm the most lucrative and successful or inspiring English tutor. Indeed, I'm not an English teacher, although I give like English classes, which is my hobby. So I just simplify everything for learners, okay? I do not go ahead and like teach them very complicated stuff in order to bore them, in order to like absorb all their energy. No, I just play with them. Like I make it a fun process. So we are playing just a game. Just like, so it's, you, it doesn't matter how old is your student. You should make it a fun process. Otherwise, if that person is bored, that person will never like have that capacity to learn, that desire to learn. So this is
Yeah,
what I mean.
I
Moreover,
100% agree. I 100% agree. You need to be interested in something to be able to learn it. And so many people try to learn English just by sitting down with a certain type of book or watch a certain type of movie. But if it's not something that interests you anyway, if you wouldn't watch that sort of thing or do that sort of thing in your native language out of curiosity, you're not going to do it in your non-native language either. So making it always fun, finding interesting topics, I think that's really important. And you just mentioned here that teaching or tutoring English to other people is sort of a hobby of yours now. So at what point in time did you realize that you not only wanted to be the best English learner and speaker that you could be, but you also wanted to help other people to do that? At what moment did you realize, hey, that's something I think I'd like to do?
oh, thanks for this very meaningful and very profound question, Miss Kyla. To begin with, I'd like to say I never liked the way I speak. Okay, every time I realize that I have a room for improvement and I need to improve myself constantly. If I speak to English speaker, or I don't know, maybe native speaker, person speaks way better than me, it challenges me to learn something more. I just take something from that person and practice it. I practice it constantly and try to implement it. So learning English or learning any foreign language is eternal process. It's not that you wake up in the morning, okay, I accomplished studying, now I know that language. No, it never will happen. Even with you guys, okay? If you think about that, you do not possess English language completely. So tomorrow you might encounter such a word that you will doubt if it's English or French or like maybe it's Arabic, but indeed it's a like English word, okay? All right, next question. So I'm never content with what I got. I always develop myself. During the day, I learned more than 10 new vocabulary words, if not 20. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I constantly read. I watch movies. Currently, I'm watching the House of Cards TV series and
Oh, so good. So good.
amazing, amazing.
Love it.
I finished watching Vikings, but it's not a it's not the best movie for improving your English, but
Yeah,
that's
that one's not going to help.
but House of Cards, that's amazing, and I'm looking forward to watch Lucifer 5 on Netflix.
Which one?
Lucifer Morningstar.
Oh, Morningstar. That one's good too. New season's coming out soon. So
Yeah,
you
with
you have
our
similar
friend.
taste. We have similar taste in shows. Those are very good.
All right, guys, let me continue, okay? Because Ms. Kayla asked me a question. All right, so it happened. So when I decided to open my group and teach English, right? So it happened in 2000, um, at the end of 2018, in December, when I was in Afghanistan, okay? I was deployed there. I was in Kunduz, and it was a very dangerous time. There were explosions, projectiles, they were shooting, bursts, everything, okay? Very, very unstable situation, and we were there in Kunduz. I appeared to be there as the liaison officer, and I was there with my troops. All of a sudden, I thought of like accidentally, okay, without thinking about it. I was just watching movie. I just paused. I said, "Why? So why would like open English group and I will master and like assemble English learners and I'll give them English classes. That's also gonna be useful for myself, okay? So I will revise grammar, I will share vocabulary, we'll be engaged in discussions, okay? It's gonna be like mutually beneficial. And all of a sudden I opened a group and named it English Club with Vahe. During the first 10 days, I could remember one member. I was invitations. I copied the link and shared wherever I felt like. I shared it in different groups, in English learning groups, in pages, on profiles. I was inviting my friends. I was sending by messenger, by WhatsApp, by Viber, by different platforms. And people were joining me. I was sharing like quizzes and I was asking, okay, explain how you actually solve this quiz. I do not care I heard and also how do you come up to know that strategy? I was asking constantly this kind of questions and people liked it. They invited and their friends invited their friends, and we grew until almost we are almost 13,000 members. Yeah, and throughout this time, my profiles got blocked, disabled. But my group and page never were affected. Okay, so I sent so many invitations. I shared so many content in my group. I didn't share anything wrong which went against policy and like mm, Facebook policy and like like community standards, right? However, I don't know how it happened. Facebook administration considered me as spammer, and they constantly disabled my accounts. But to my group and my page weren't affected because I connected my group with my page. If you connect your group with your page and assign a few admins to your page, so even if your profile is deleted, your page remains, okay? And if you open a new profile, your friend who is an admin can send you an admin advice, like invitation, and you can become an admin. So this is how I started. I was like sharing videos, some with motivational speeches, and I don't know, some funny stuff, grammatical materials, some vocabulary, quizzes, so on and so forth. So I've been teaching English diversely. I'm not just focusing on a certain stuff. And do you know what helped me to improve my language? I'm not saying that I'm the most fluent person in the world. I make lots of mistakes in my speaking. I speak it like in my way, not in way of others. Okay, this is my way of speaking. Sometimes I mispronounce words, or I don't know, I have an accent, but I don't care about that. I care about that, of course, because I need to improve it, and I'm on my way to improve. Okay, because I improve, I could be able to I've been able to improve my English because I was learning whatever I wanted to learn, whatever I was genuinely, sincerely interested in, not just because it was a curriculum program and I had to learn it. Okay? When you have to do something, so you just like satisfy the requirements, you accomplish the given test, but that's it. You do not develop because you are not doing something more, okay? You are just done and that's it, okay? Your teacher is satisfied, you receive your grades and it's okay. But if you want to learn for your own benefits, it's a passion for you. You do it diversely, you constantly explore, you are in search, okay? You are seeking for something. You find a word you want to understand, you will never be you never calm down until you find the answer. Okay, what does this word mean? What does this phrase mean? How to put this word or phrase in sentence? This is a great way, like very developed and uh, like sophisticated way of learning and teaching. So this is
Yeah.
my strategy, guys.
Yeah, I love that you focus on making sure that people have fun. They keep it interesting, making sure people stay curious. And I think that what you said about feeling the obligation to learn a language or like, I have to do this homework, the way we talk to ourselves about learning a language has a lot to do with how well we perform when learning it. So if I say every day, oh, I have to practice English today, or I have to work on my pronunciation, instead of saying, today I feel motivated to work on my English, or today I feel like working on my pronunciation, or today I would love to understand this grammar rule. So if we change our internal dialogue in that sort of way and see it in a different light, doing things that we find interesting, that's very helpful for us. And you gave us a lot of good information there. So I want to just recap some of the highlights that I think would be most beneficial for people. Something that I think you took from those first days when your mom was forcing you to learn vocabulary and grammar and all of that, you've taken the best parts of that that helped you learn and helped transfer that to other students by showing the importance of being able to explain something you've learned, why it is the way it is. And that's something that I think every teacher or tutor understands very well to be able to give effective classes, is that if a student can't explain back to you why something is the way it is, if a student couldn't teach that same concept or notion or vocabulary to another student, then they don't understand it well enough. So you pushing other people to learn how to teach is how they become better learners, and it's how you've become such a great learner as well. So that's something I want everyone else to take with them and understand the importance of that when we are learning any language and anything in general, right? That's like a learning strategy you can use with most things in life. I know I've dominated the questions a lot here. Edward, I don't know if you want to come out and ask Vahe anything that has particularly caught your attention when he was speaking.
Yes, I actually have a big question on hand was, as you reflect back to the end of 2018, you created your group. What were things that, if you did it again, if you advise other teachers and stuff that have groups, how would you do it better this time around? Like, what was some mistakes you made and some things that you found that worked really well with the group side of it and communicating to your students?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for that, Mr. Edward. Okay, so okay, very important thing about running group is like maintaining discipline in your group. Okay, if you do not like take care of your members, they will do that whatever they want. Okay, you need to be protective about that. Okay, and if somebody perpetrates, you should eliminate that person and show others how are you punishing that person. You reprimand this person in front of everybody, block him, and he will lose access from your group. Okay, you will just ban that person from your group, and the rest of the members will see that you are being very observant, very diligent, and like very uh, very attentive. Okay, you are handling situation correctly. So I faced a few situations when there were some arguments in our group and people they were misbehaving. They had hard time uh, in like eliminating these people. They were constantly returning back, and also they were like reporting my profile for admonishing them, for blocking them, and my profile got closed. I would not like escalate any tensions in my group because it threatens to my profile, to my group, and quality of my group. Okay, I'll just like handle situation in more calm way. Okay, in more calm manner. I'll just block them and that's it. I would not say anything back to them because they can just together with their friends, search for my profile, and just report it, and they'll close my profile.
Okay, so handling situations a little bit better over the last 2 years, a year and a half, you've had a profile would have been a better way. And when you communicate with your students on times, do you have set classes or is it spontaneous how you do your classes?
I would call it like more of spontaneous. Okay, I wake up in the morning here, maybe like in the afternoon, and I decide to give like Zoom meetings to my friends, my students, my group members. Like 3 4 hours before I make an announcement, I notify them that I'm going to start in like Zoom meeting after 4 hours or after 5 hours or after 2 hours. Okay, and I also mentioned what am I going to talk about during my
Good.
like Zoom classes, and people they just join me. I do not accept more than like 20 members because it's complicated working with them. If
Yes.
I, yeah, if I like oversee or like, I don't know, do not allow anybody to participate due to shortage of time or something like that, that person will not feel comfortable. And I do not want to be disrespectful towards that person. I want to give opportunity to every one of them to express their ideas as often as they can. Okay? Only by listening to you, students, they will not learn. They can just shut down this Zoom meeting and watch on American TV. They can do like more listening than during this Zoom class without any like English learners, only with native speakers. They want
Yes.
to participate, okay? Their the purpose of the interaction uh, like is mostly speaking, okay? They want to speak, they want to express themselves. They hear you and they like reiterate what you say, they repeat it. That's how they learn. Okay, if you have like 50 or like 100 members in one class, I don't think everybody opportunity with you. But 20 people, it's more than enough. Every one of them, they can read a sentence or topic or I don't know, passage. You can ask questions, you can listen to their ideas without interrupting because they want to express themselves. That's why they are exciting to have like Zoom meetings with you and into with you. Otherwise, they will be bored. I
Right.
remember myself in Zoom meetings, which was organized by, I don't know, somebody. I was invited, and he didn't give me opportunity to speak. So I was bored. What the hell I am doing there? I thought to myself. And I just left without saying anything. Okay. So because so people will not follow if you do not involve them in conversations, in discussions. You do not ask them questions. It works
Okay.
also in reality. If you are like in front of your class, okay, your group, your students, you need to involve everybody. You should ask like random questions to everybody. That everybody will be motivated. Okay, they will be like vigilant.
No, I like that. It's a really good response. So you found that it was very effective. Your last about year and a half of teaching is to one, keep your students, we call it on their toes. So they don't know who's going to be called on, but they do know that everybody's going to get a chance to speak. So everybody is actually tuned in, really paying attention because they don't know when their turn may be. And then also everybody will have a opportunity to speak. So they do know that if they're sitting in one of the seats there in the class, they know somebody's going to call on them or you're going to call on them at some point. So they're going to get something out of that lesson, which I think is really good, especially with the structure of 20 and under. That's a really valid point of smaller classrooms that you can do. So I do like that. And this is going to lead me into my piggyback question of where does your group go in the next year or two? Where's the vision for it now for your students?
I don't know, Edward. I really do not know. I have many plans, but so I should. Um, so as I mentioned, teaching is not my primary job. Okay, it's just a hobby. I'm a military. Depends on my time, on my schedule, on my service. I don't know. I have like moderators who run my group perfectly. I'm just like a participant in my group. Sometimes I share posts, okay? But mostly it's done by my moderators. They run my group even without my presence. Even when my group was disabled from like since December until February or March, it had been disabled. During this whole time, my moderators that were running this group, I wasn't around. Whenever I was trying to open a profile, it got disabled immediately. I don't know why. So for some mysterious reason, but all of a sudden my wife opened a profile for me and still I have that problem. This is my existing profile. And I was impressed. I was appalled when I saw activeness in my group. It still was running. My loyal moderators, my faithful friends, they were running my group, and the number of members got also significantly increased.
Now, is your group private or public?
It's public.
Nice,
So
nice.
just one more thing, I wanted
Sure.
to add something. But what were we talking about? What were we talking about before this question? Before you were asking when do I think my group will go in future? Talking about.
The
Can,
question before was classrooms. How do you find interaction, size of classrooms we were speaking on, and effectiveness in like your teaching techniques? It was
oh,
a
okay. Yeah. In addition to that, I wanted to add something else. Okay. In 2017, I went to Czech Republic and I took courses by British instructors. It was instructor training course of peacekeeping operations. They were training instructors. They were preparing us to become instructors. And they were like teaching us basics, okay? How run your classroom that nobody will be bored, how to pay attention like individually, so on and so forth, okay? You need to be fair, firm, and friendly with your students, with your group mates, with your members. Also, you should prevent distractions. When there's a distraction, you should prevent it in reality, in real classes. If you do not pay attention to your students individually, they get bored or they lose interest, okay? They stop being interested in what you teach. You need to like constantly ask random questions to your students, to not those who just raise their hand. Okay, do not ask questions to those who raise their hands. Ask questions to those who sit behind. Okay, they try to hide from you, and this person will be attentive the next time. The next time he will do his best or her best or their best, okay, in order to be attentive and pay attention. There are some strategies. It also works with Zoom meeting. If you do not pay attention to your participants, they lose interest. Next time they will never join. And you will end up with having very small audience in the future. Maybe with your favorite students, okay? Not with those who really want to learn English, which will mean that you weren't able to help these people. You
mhm.
could have just You could have helped only those who had sufficient knowledge, they were motivated, they could keep up with you. Okay? Because the value of instructor is estimated by the number of their dunes students, not with not by number of their like A class student, no, straight A students, no. Okay, you need to be able to teach everybody, even to somebody who has like very restricted capabilities of learning or perceiving. This is what I wanted to, hopefully I could explain it in my own words.
No, I think you did a great job. And I actually generated a few ideas that I think we can brainstorm on after this Zoom meeting on, we're always as a teacher, and this is why I love these meet and greets with other teachers, is because it generates ideas on how we can all become a little bit better. And like, just like we practice our English language, we're also practicing our ability to communicate and teach in a more effective manner. You had made a statement earlier. There's difference between being certified and qualified. Just because you have a certificate does not mean you can apply it. You need to be qualified in a subject. So you can go to school for a subject and go, well, I teach this, but you communicate so poorly. And I do love that your effectiveness, like the ways you teach with small groups, I have been to a lot of them. I even told Kayla she needs to go to one because the reading comprehension classes are very good. And then for people watching this today, we're going to have some links right here for English with Vahe that you can go to these classes. Like he does I will give him a very high A+ rating on calling on students, having short stories, and you've done a great job. This is the only reason we're sitting here today is because your work has been, you genuinely give of yourself all the time. And some of these Zooms go like 2-3 hours. And I'm like, whoa, they're very long sometimes, where we only do 1 hour and it's finished just because of a limitation of time. But I do appreciate you, brother, because you're always serving the community in some way. And you're doing it for free. Now, I do know you do, if people need extra help, they can contact you about paid services and stuff like that too, right? Okay.
Yeah, Edward, by the way, you know, why do people enjoy my Zoom meetings? I'm not a native speaker, okay? You can do better job than me. They'll be more interested in you because you are an American. So they learn your language. You know more, certainly you know more than we do. But so the key thing here, I am friendly with everybody, okay? I am friendly. Although, uh, like, I am trying to keep it like professionally, but I also exhibit some intimacy. Do not get it that I harass anybody. I never harass anybody. I keep it formal, but at the same time, a little bit informal. Okay,
I
I
understand.
like talk nargile. Sometimes we change topic. Okay, when we are talking about text, grammar, something, after 20 minutes, I change a little, make joke, or I ask them to tell some interesting story. Then we continue. You know why?
Why is that?
Look, so our brain capacity is limited. Also, the capacity of our perception, perception of new knowledge, information, so on and so forth. Once every 20 minutes, your brain gets exhausted. And after 20 minutes, when you stress out your brain, the ability to perceive new stuff, to absorb new stuff, gets lower and lower. Once every 20 minutes, make a like some like make a joke or tell a very short story, like 2-3 minutes, not more. Then restart it again. Continue again, okay? Remind what were you talking about and continue. During 40 minutes of meeting, you need to have one short break. Otherwise, they will not understand anything after 20 minutes. They will find themselves hard to understand whatever you are teaching. This is psychology.
Yep.
So I was taught this by our like British professors in Czech Republic. So they could prove this point to me. I had lots of arguments with them about this. They could prove me, okay? They could prove their point. And I could understand even based on my own experience. So this is a great teaching strategy. After each 20 minutes, you need a little, like, short time of refreshment. Then continue your lesson. You can teach like 8 hours and nobody will get tired. Indeed, they will learn whatever you teach them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree with that a lot as a professor as well, and as a learner. Like me myself, when I have to be productive and do things, I do the same thing. I use what they call the Pomodoro technique. I don't remember what it's called, but it's every 25 minutes you take a 5-minute break and then you keep going with your tasks, checking them off. So I do the same sort of thing. So I think that's great. And you obviously have worked so hard to understand throughout the years the psychology and the mindset behind learning new things in general, not only languages, and things that you were learning from professors to give courses on other things, not necessarily language. You're using that to apply to help tutoring your students, and I think that's an awesome thing you're doing. So to sort of wrap up this call and this interview that we're having, I just want to thank you as a one like English tutor professor to another. Thank you for all that you're doing to help other students reach that level that they want to of English fluency, helping them feel confident and feel valued in the classroom. And definitely as a professor, there's a lot that I can learn from you and take your techniques into my own classroom as well. So I definitely appreciate you being with us here today and doing this interview.
Thank you very much, Ms.Kayla. The pleasure is all mine. I also learned a lot of stuff from this interesting and meaningful meeting, and I appreciate you for having me in your Zoom meeting.
Yes, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to upload this online so you can share it with your own members, and we can get the most impact we can out of these reasons of why we do what we do, which is our students often don't see the side. They don't see the dedication and the time committed to make sure they learn. And I think that's a very important thing for us to always be sharing of our weaknesses, but also our strengths as teachers, that we're just people learning just like the students, and our paths never ended. We're just learning a little bit more, and we're giving away a little bit more as we learn. And I do appreciate that. We're going to wrap up the call. I want to say a major thank you for being here today, and we look forward to working together more and continuing on. So I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vahe.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to having another meeting with you guys. Okay, invite me without hesitation. I'm always happy.
Anytime, my friend. Appreciate you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.